and welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I'm a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. The journey continues today on June 22nd, 2024 at approximately 4:30 p.m. PST. Now, I've returned to this world for one primary purpose, and that is to remind people that working together, we can make this a better world for virtually everybody. Now, I bill myself as a spiritual guide because the tools I offer are the exact same tools I personally use in my day-to-day life. And the philosophies of life I talk about are the same philosophies I personally utilize to guide virtually every action I make. With this in mind, I know these tools will work for you because they continue to work for me, and they have literally worked for thousands of other people with various and varying degrees of success, depending on their own personal efforts. Okay, now today we are going to be looking at aliens in the Galactic Consortium and some of their advanced technologies. Now, before anybody gets into it, no, we are not going to cover do we have to go to war against the aliens. You can be thankful that you don't. Okay, we're not covering any of the issue of, what do they use for the newest rotisserie? Okay, we're not going down that road. It's that simple. We will cover technologies, but here I'm going to give you a heads up on this one before I even get into it. This week, we're covering a lot of the consortium, and we are going to cover some of the races. But next week, we're going to be covering a number of the races. Okay, and if you've already got a copy, of Races of the Worlds, I will be pulling most of the races out of this. That said, if there is a specific one you'd like to know more information about, absolutely drop me a line either in the chat room while we're on air or drop me an email. Any number of ways of doing it. Not the least of which is at the top of the chat line of the live stream here. There's a thing that says "Buy me a coffee." You can certainly contact me through that. Okay, now before I go any further here, what do we got? We have Woo, you are in the house with the gold. How you doing there, Woo? And yeah, things have been going really good today. A little on the hectic side, but I've gone down some interesting roads. Okay, and so I hope yours is going well as well. Yours as well. We could trip over that. Okay. And Ellie, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Here's a completely off-topic notice for you, but I am now finally starting to teach myself how to cook, which is something I've never bothered with. But I just managed today to, my little brother stepped up and has given me a hand financially to stable things. That'll be dealt with. But at the same time, I just finished spending half the day in the kitchen making, for a whopping $20 roughly, I put 8 meals in my freezer, meaning about $2.50 a meal. Okay, so much better than the $20 I was spending to go out. Okay, now, that being said, I do have a number of technological things, but I mentioned I was going to start looking for, good news coming up. Not coming up, rather. So much of things I stumbled across. I was going through Facebook on my page, and I was going through. I forwarded the ones I liked, and I literally blocked out the streams I'm not impressed with anymore. I'm not going back to remove them. I'm just taking them out as I go. But the first one that caught my attention, and I do not know where this was. Okay. It did say where it was. I just didn't write down the actual location. It's the action, not the location that matters. But somehow this little puppy panicked and ended up under a car at a stoplight. Okay, didn't get hit. He just ran under the side of it. There were 7 vehicles at the intersection. All of them parked their cars and got out of their vehicles and went down to coax the pup out from underneath the car, delaying everybody. Like the whole intersection came to a standstill. Some people were trying to make sure, were trying to calm it down. Somebody else went and got some dog treats they had. Finally got the dog out. Okay, don't honestly know. I think it probably took 15, 20 minutes if I know dogs. Okay, but they brought the thing to a standstill, the whole intersection to a standstill until the dog was safely returned to the owner. Now this is the kind of thing that should be front page news in my eyes, not stuck in some backwater position. Okay, now that one, and I've seen this happen in other places, but now I'm starting to go, okay, let's take a look at this, and let's find a way to look at, are people out there being decent? Are people changing their focus? This is why I'm eliminating things I'm not impressed with, i.e., oh, I'm being selfish and I managed to embarrass this person. Look at how special I am. Not impressed. Number 2 that I marked down had to do with the Denmark's national soccer team. The men's soccer team turned down a pay raise in order so the women's soccer team, their national soccer team, could be making equal pay. Now the thing is, regardless of whether you're male or female, a job is a job is a job. And I see no problem if you're doing the job well. Absolutely, you should be paid the same, in my opinion. Now, I get told I'm a little backwoods and I'm a little unrealistic. And in today's world, that's quite possible. But here we have a professional sports team getting offered more money to do the same job. And it was a universal, probably the wrong word. Everybody agreed to it. Every one of the males turned down their raise so the women could be earning the same as they were. This is the thing that we've got to take a look at. So now would you put the rest of your by there? Well, Woo's just relaxing, hanging out at the pool. So I take a look at this and go, okay, you guys, the majority of people out there are going, I require more money. Here's a group of professional athletes that went, yeah, we like the money. We like our lifestyle. But let's bring equality back to the planet. What do you think? Okay. Then I've got this other one. Okay. I didn't go looking for a whole lot because I could get carried away. I know this. Okay. I will be capping it out. Oh, there you go. I will be capping it out at only 5 a day, but I only did the 3 today. And Woo just goes, he says, just got done posting a cool video on my channel of Garfield in our backyard. A lot of the time when you've got videos of people or of animals, some of them are absolutely priceless. Okay. That was painful. No, I saw one video. Wasn't exactly good news. It wasn't bad news. But this guy, he was terminating a cockatoo's cage. The cockatoo was not in the cage. He had bought a new cage and was going to replace the cockatoo's cage. So he puts the cage on the ground and jumps up and down on it. Well, I'll tell you, the poor cockatoo had an absolute bird. You have to pardon the pun on that one. But it was just swearing at the guy a mile a minute. But then animals have, they've got their own outlook. Now, the third piece I was looking at, this old chap, I don't know if he was homeless, it didn't say. But he went into a food court, and he sits down. He's not well dressed, but he's not in really torn apart clothing. And he sits down, and he's just kind of dozing against the wall at a table. Nobody bothered him, but it starts off. They just show him there, and a guy one of the patrons comes over and takes his bag. Now, don't panic on that one. It worked out really well. He takes this big shopping bag of the guy's that's sitting there and goes and loads it up with a bunch of fresh foods. Okay, as in bananas and some other stuff he threw in. I don't know exactly what all was there. Okay, so he turned around, and this one guy fills this bag up. And while he's doing that, two other patrons come over and grab one of the nearby tables, picked it up, and set it in front of the guy. He's still sleeping. Then a third patron, I guess that'd be the fourth one, brings over a bowl of a plate with a shish kebab type setup on it, puts it down on the table. Another one comes over, puts down a plate, and puts down a bowl of soup and a salad. And a final one puts a cake down, a slice of cake down, right, also on the same table. Then the guy that took the bag in the first place brings it back over and accidentally bumps the older gentleman and wakes him up. Well, he wakes up to this entire spread. By the look on his face and the fact he ended up in tears, I'd be inclined he was in a lot worse shape than what he looked. But these are things, we got to find a way to go, okay, these are the things that you really ought to be looking at. Not who won what. Not who embarrassed who. I'm no sports fan. I did see the videos that said, hey, the Oilers won. And absolutely, to the people that were hoping for, that were voting or not voting for them, rooting for them, absolutely, congratulations. My opinion on sports is simple. Whoever gets the most, and this is why my sports section on Positive Perspectives really boils down to, it really boils down to a simple issue. Somebody has to win, but you only got to win by 1 point. You don't have to do the rest of it. Now, to be honest with you there, I'm looking at this. I haven't looked at the video, Woo, and in all fairness, I'm not likely to get to it for quite a while here. Certainly not tonight while I'm on air. But, I do notice things that are coming up. I just don't necessarily post all of them. Okay, but like I said, this is an issue of we've got to start focusing on the things that are working, that are helping people feel better. Now, I don't know about you, but I watched this video of the people pulling the dog out from underneath the car. The dog had not been hit. There wasn't anything about, oh, look at how badly it was wounded. It was just a scared little pup. Okay. But it's this sort of thing that I personally feel should be on the front page, which is why I figured like I told you guys, I was going to start doing this on my stream. Okay. Which, it does mean that we get a little bit of good news, then we'll depress you. No, I'm going to do my best not to. But, now, sorry guys, pictures on this one, not going to happen. Understand, number one, I don't have photographs. Number two, my artwork is absolutely pathetic. Okay, but number three, I can do that this week. That works. The other part of it is, of course, I am working on the pictures and I will be getting them done. Now, here's a straightforward request from you guys. Okay, I've got somebody working on the races of the worlds. Okay, that'll be Chris Holm. You've seen him in here. Okay, I've got somebody working on my artwork for the Ildebakian Chronicles. That would be John Stubbington over in England. Okay, I am looking for somebody that can draw technological pictures, okay, that are realistic. I am not looking for a cartoon. I'm not looking for kind of a whimsical approach. I'm looking for as accurate as I can get away with. Okay, if you're interested, send me a link. Send me a line. Send me a sample of what you can do. I'm looking for advanced technologies. Okay, and the clearer they are, the better. But like I said, I'm looking at realism. Now, let's start with I've got, all of these are in the updated version of Races of the Worlds. Okay, but let's start with this little thing that I'm sure, where is the number on it? Because what I want to do is I'll check them off so I don't repeat myself. Let's see. Where is the one I'm looking for? There we are. And these, like I said, these are absolutely already in the book. Okay. But the first one we're looking at is something called the triphasic dextrospanalyzer. That is the tool. Now, I'd love to see responses in the chat room, confirming whether you guys have seen these or not. Have you ever seen on yourself or on somebody that you know, or somebody you don't know for that matter, a funny little mark that's got three spots that way. Nope, that way. With one point at the top and then one little dot on either side. Usually about an inch in diameter or an inch across between the points. There's 3 points and then an extra wide, just an extra straight bar underneath 2 of them. Okay. Have you ever seen that kind of a mark on anybody? Okay. That is the mark of the dextrospanalyzer, which is the tool that the Greys use, the zeta reticulans use for extracting DNA and for putting the implant in. Okay, this is their primary tool for data collection and tracking regarding the hybridization program. And we will get to that, by the way, because somebody's going to ask me about it on Monday, I think it is. I got to look. Monday. On the 24th, we will be going into the hybridization program, amongst a few other ones. Okay. But that little mark, it's a real quick. What do we got here? Rachel, how you doing? You are in with the silver, Rachel. Welcome aboard. Now, that three points, that is what they do is they go into the now let's see, I wrote it down to make sure I had the right baseline for it. Hopefully this is the one that's updated. Haven't moved it around yet. That figures. Okay. Anyway, it takes 3 different depths. That needle, the needles all go in at the same time. Okay. But it initially applies a topical anesthetic, so you don't even feel the impact. Okay. It takes a sample from the dermis, from the epidermis, from the intramusculature, and from 3 different levels. Unfortunately, should have written this down a little more clearly. Oh, that's because I haven't moved it over yet. I just had it done. But takes 3 depths. Oh, subcutaneous, that's it. The epidermis, the subcutaneous, and the intramusculature. All at the same time. At the same time they're pulling that data sample out, they're also implanting a tracker. Now, that tracker is designed to handle all kinds of things. Okay, not the least of which is metabolic rate. You know, what your body is doing, what the electrolytics are doing as this is all taking place. Bear in mind, zeta reticulans are not interested on the whole in causing a problem. They are simply researchers getting the information they require. You know, so with that in mind, that thing, what it basically looks like, and some of you working in certain fields may recognize it, kind of looks like an old flashlight. Now, what it is it's a straight bar. Okay, it's just a straight flat and what appears to be about the size of a straight flashlight, but it's got a neck on it that spins. Okay, so it actually looks this way. Okay, it actually looks like it's bent at the neck. And I can't do with my wrist what they do. But they turn the thing so it spins back upright. Gives them the most mobility. And it's a handheld item, not really heavy duty. Okay, you're looking at lightweight, way advanced technology levels. Okay, so unlike humans who still require a needle to go down and one at a time, try and gauge it right, these guys are extremely advanced technology. Okay, now, by the way, at the same time that they're doing this, one of the things with that topical anesthetic that they're using, okay, with the local anesthetic, is it creates an hallucinogenic overlay, usually in the form of the and we'll call it victim, okay, because most people don't like being abducted in the first place. What do we got? So what they do is they put it in, but it literally puts an hallucinogenic overlay, if you will. What they're trying to do is leave your life in as little disarray as possible. Okay, and that's why it's usually in the form of an owl or in the form of a deer. Okay, usually it's just a deer's head. And again, it's because it looks similar in configuration to the zeta reticulans. Okay, this is done to simply keep them keep them stable, if you will. Keep the patient, subject. There's a lot of different words that can be used. Okay, one thing we have to realize is all of these technologies are working on an interesting field. Okay, now I keep using the term triphasic. That's because they deal on recording information from the past, present, and extrapolated future, not an actual view into what could have been or what might become, but into the likely outcome. What is the shockwave effect on cell structure when you drive a needle through it? What is the shock damage to the surrounding tissue? This is what they're looking for, and this is what they are doing their best to accommodate. Okay, so that's one of the neat little tools they have, and that one you'll find in any of the collection kits. Okay, they've got a number of other things, but I'm just getting into the big ones to start with. Now, because of the fact that sometimes, oh, by the way, I forgot about that. The dextrospandalizer was literally designed by the zeta reticulans. Okay, they're the ones that came up with it. They're the ones that put it to use, and they are also the ones that train others. Now, you will find the Gaddafi, who you know as the Nords, are quite often on the same ship as the Reticulans, because Gaddafi look very human. Okay, they really do. And humans seem to react a little better when they've got somebody they can recognize, or at least a life form they can make sense of. So the Gaddafi come along with them. Okay, now before anybody comes to this, I know I've been asked this a number of times. If you have, if you're looking at it and you're going, well, where's the information coming from? Just a real quick recap. I've been dealing with off-worlders and ancient races since I was born. Okay, not to mention medium work and the rest of that as well. But I get my information firsthand. I don't do a lot of research to find out what other people are finding or discovering or saying. Okay, what I do is I go firsthand. This is what I saw, and yeah, I have been subjected to the Dextrose Analyzer. It wasn't until decades later that I found out what it was and what it was for. Fortunately, if you treat these people decently, same as if you treat humans decently, they will treat you decently on the whole. Now, that's for pulling for drawing samples. And we got to remember, they're doing nothing more than what humans are doing to their own, to their own denizens on Earth. As in, monkeys and tigers and lions, oh my. Or is that tigers and monkeys and lions? But the Zetas are doing exactly the same thing. Now, they do provide a kit, and it's kind of an interesting setup, but it literally boils down to a kit to carry stuff with them. I'm going to have to look into figuring out how to explain that particular kit, but they vary greatly from one species to the next. And this is why I said, if one of you guys is able to deal with that side of it, there we go. Oh, LA goes, it's lions and tigers and bear. Oh my. Okay. Yeah, I watched the movie. Ridden the tornado. I mean, it was great. I watched The Wizard of Oz. I've ridden the tornado, and I still can't get the movie right. But what the heck? Now, with that, and I've also been to the other side of the rainbow, by the way. Bad news. Sorry to be a spoiler here. The leprechauns on the other side of the rainbow don't have a whole pile of gold. Okay. Just doesn't work quite that way. But we'll get to that later. Okay. But the Dextrose Analyzer you'll find in there. Now, that is for taking samples. Now, as I'm sure you can well imagine, many times, accidents will happen on the, on an outing. Now that LA goes, I used Wizard of Oz for studying insurance tests. Given the fact I actually used to sell insurance decades back. Okay, I wasn't good at it. Of course, I couldn't figure out how their money was going to keep me alive. But there we go. Joseph goes, the arrival of numerous alien species would necessitate diplomatic efforts to establish communication and prevent conflicts in crowded skies. It has been a bear to accomplish. Absolutely not a problem. Yeah, he goes, neither was I. I'm not a good liar. No, you're definitely not. I can say, I can vouch for that one. Fortunately, I can vouch for it. I'm much more accurate going, I've never, all the time I've known LA, I've never heard her tell a lie. Okay. and rest assured I can usually spot them. But the Dextrose Analyzer doesn't do a whole lot to calm people down. Okay. I mean, they can knock you out. There's no problem there. But when we're looking at this, that's the one tool they use for pulling samples. Then they've got this other thing, because when you're out on the field, sometimes people get hurt. Okay. And needless to say, and human doctors are aware of this, many of you may be. If you get hurt on the field, one thing you're really looking to do is make absolutely certain that you keep the area sterile. Now, if you're coming here from another planet, as you can well imagine, you go back to when the Europeans first came to North America, they brought with them chickenpox. Okay, so you've got a problem here. You've got to watch for infections. So what these guys did was they brought another tool along. Okay, now the Dextrose Analyzer was designed by the Zeta Reticulans. Okay, but there's another tool in their standard medical kit, in the Consortium standard medical kit. That is the Holonc. Okay, now the Holonc, it was built by the Eniod. Okay, it is linked to their technology is linked to other things, but the Holonc, you literally take an onc. Okay, take a look at the configuration of an onc. That's that neat little thing, goes up. It's got a little bit of a bubble and a crosshatch. And we just pop something here. Yeah, Joseph goes, Earth lacks the necessary logistical framework to manage a substantial influx of alien species, especially concerning airspace congestion, which has caused some accidents. And in all fairness, that is definitely part of the problem. But we will get to that in a moment. The Holonc is a wonderful little tool. They've got multiple different sizes of these things. Because what it is you've got a flat path. The base of it is here. And then you've got another part that, depending on the item, okay, sometimes you just set it up and it pulls another of the onc shape over top of the wounded area. Now, this is why they've got different sizes. They've got it for working with limbs, with bodies, with digits, limbs, bodies, and full-size individuals. Now, they can only accommodate so much. Okay, the Eniod are only roughly human size to start with. Okay, so they did not have. There are a few of the bigger ones built, but you can understand, I'm sure, with the Eniod being human sized and the Anunnaki being 15 feet and more. Okay, the same tools can't be used for that size person. So they had to build new ones. They had to build bigger ones. Okay, but what it is it clamps down over top, so the limb sits on the base, and then it's got this onc clamp down. And what that is it literally is essentially a transporter. Okay, sort of. It's an access point, because through that circle, and we use the term circle a little loosely, through that teardrop, they can operate inside the victim's body without compromising the area. Okay, and yes, in case you're wondering, and I think I've got it here, it is the technology used for that is linked to other technologies, not the least of which is the Stargate program. What humans call the Stargate program. There's another name for it. I just don't have it here right now. But we'll be getting into the programs and we'll get into the actual programs. Yeah, what do I got? Just so I don't put myself in a box. Oh, yeah, the programs and technology and what have you, that again, I'll have ready for Monday. Okay. Oh, by the way, tomorrow, and this, yeah, Ellie goes, I bet getting an Anunnaki to sit still for this sort of thing is challenging. Absolutely. It absolutely is. A real quick note, tomorrow, we are going to be dealing with some of the actual major races in the consortium. If you've got one that you would like to see and to hear about tomorrow, okay, absolutely, again, drop me a line. We're live right now, so I will certainly, I'm certainly keeping an eye open for them. But the Holonk is designed for operating inside the body without breaking the skin, thereby containing that whole thing inside the field. Okay. Now, needless to say, they've got a little one in human terms to take a look at your digits. Okay. A slightly bigger one that takes care of limbs. Now, in the event that you're hurt really badly and they've got to get to one of the full size, those are kept on the ship. They are not exactly portable. Okay. They can be unloaded if they need to, but it's a lot of work. But again, their idea is simple. We've got medical knowledge, certainly. And are they going to turn that kind of knowledge over to mankind right now? Not a prayer. Here's why. Humans are still very aggressive. And can anybody, before I put my foot in it, can anybody tell me what you think would be the biggest reason, given the aggression? Nathan, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Guys, Nathan has a show tonight. Yeah, tonight, Saturday, at 9 p.m. Pacific. Okay. Drop in, give him a listen. If you like what not working, not driving. Oh, there you go. Give him a listen. If you like what he has to say, give him a thumbs up. Do subscribe to the channel and share the daylights out of the thing. Well, yeah, absolutely, Joseph. Joseph is going, our infrastructure baffles non-native species. It used to anyway. This is why, you got to remember, they've been here for literally centuries. Okay. This is a nice change. Nathan's actually able to stay put. But the Holonk is literally, it's built to operate inside the corporeal body. Now, here's the neat little kicker to it. Because of the way the field works, it stabilizes the energy pattern. Which means they can literally use the Holonk to help, for instance, the Holic. Now, the Holic is a fire-based race. They are essentially fire elementals. But the Anion can operate on them given that they've got the appropriate protection on. Let's face it, you don't want to stick your hand inside a fire. Please tell me nobody out there actually wants to. But be honest about it. I've stuck my hand in fire. It's no fun. So the Holonk is literally a medical tool. And again, somebody's going to go, well, where did you find out about this? Amazingly enough, I found out about it in their looking in on an operating theater. That's the neat little part about it. We also have to remember when we look at the consortium compared to humans, the consortium is used to dealing with very immature, very aggressive, small races. That's what they've been doing for literally millennia. Now, I'm just touching on these. There is more information. It is being popped into the, it is going to be popped into Race of the Worlds, the second edition. And I am starting to post things together for Facebook and other places. The reality of it is, this is my primary outlet and positive perspectives. Now, if I look at this, what have we got here? Oh, yes. We may as well go after this one. Like I said, I got 2 sheets of short notes, but I'm going to be expanding them here. Okay. Now, this other one is a really cute little tool. It's literally called the Angarnan Shalan. It is developed by the Telesians. And what it is it literally boils down to a psionic enhancer. Okay. And, yes, I've got the recommended, I know what power level to work with. Okay. The reason I'm not putting it out there is because some genius is going to put it together. I'm not trying to keep the stuff away. I want to know firsthand what the side effects are. Now, I've been talking to certain people, to some people that you've seen in this chat room, and I've met at other places, about finding what I'm looking for. Okay, about finding Terran-based technology. I just don't know where I'm going to get it. Okay, but until I have a dummy model made up that I can test on me, I'm not giving anybody the information. Okay, what it's designed to do is realign the cranial chakras to enable your mind to open up and work much more efficiently. Okay, now humans already know. I do not like that. Humans already know about chakras. Scientists will look at you and go, that's garbage. Some will. Others will go, oh, we're talking about energy meridians. Remember, each piece of information we're looking at gives part of a much bigger one. Now, with the Garden, it literally is a net that fits over top of your head. Okay, it accesses the cerebral cortex. It's got a tail that runs all the way to the small of the back. Okay, and then it's got 2 that are here and a whole band across the front. Okay, and the reason for that is to enable you to actually enhance your own abilities. Thing is, it can be turned sour in such a quick fashion. I have talked to a couple of people to find out if they can find me what I'm looking for. Whether they're going to or not, how much it's going to cost, I don't know. Okay, I just don't know. But what I do know is that I'm going to test on me before I ever let people know what's going on with it. And before some genius out there comes up with, if you've got advanced technology access to it, you have an obligation to to share it with the world. No, I really don't. Okay, I've seen what happens when advanced technology gets shared with the world. Okay, what ends up happening is some genius comes out, and yes, in case you couldn't tell, genius in this case does not mean nice. It is not meant as a compliment. Okay, it's usually I'm referred to it more often than not. If I'm calling you a genius, the odds are I'm actually telling you you're not thinking things through. But the Ingarden literally is designed to stabilize the chakras and adjust the vibratory rate of them in order to bring harmony to your access point on the neural net. Okay, these can be built at any size, but the stats I've got are literally for humans, and this is why I will test it myself first. Okay. The other thing that you'll find with it, on top of it being it's very comfortable to wear, there's no problem. It's not like you put on a hat and leave it there, though. It's designed to enhance things as time goes on. Now, did I miss anybody here? I don't think so. I do have to ask, though, I'm just going back up. Nathan, I'm glad you're here. I really am. And as you can tell, guys, Nathan is one of the moderators that we've got in here that I know wholeheartedly, if we've got a problem child coming in, Nathan does have the authority to remove them. If they're causing a problem, and I know Nathan won't overstep anyway. That's why Storm sits here. Okay. But scroll that down here. So when you look at it, I'm looking at this, and bear in mind, what I'm telling you is as close to a translated name as I can give you. Unfortunately, you gotta realize when we're dealing, well, that was 9. When you're dealing with the delusions, we are not dealing with people that are high on the communication skills in vocal language. Okay, but I'm just making sure I've got this cut. Yeah. So, it's a really neat item. And it's funny when they go to use it, there are, as some humans are aware, different crystals operate at different frequencies, and they are aligned inherently with human chakras. With that in mind, on the outside of this net, right over top of the access points, there's a little pocket to put different crystals in. Okay, and they always use doubles when they're dealing with crystals, and these have to be fabricated. They don't grow this way. Okay, but the crystals they use, and Nathan, this is directly for you. They are the same configuration as the crystal computer. The crystals are literally about 1 inch long, sometimes a little longer, depending on the computer in that case. Okay, but the ones for the incarnate are about 1 inch long, double terminate, and 7-sided. Okay, so when you look at the end of them, they literally look like a 7-pointed star. Okay, so with that in mind, again, the information and the different technologies are cross-referenced and cross-utilized by the consortium itself. But that is an enhancement tool. And here's the funny thing with the incarnate. Okay, it can literally repair brain damage. It was through them, and I know you guys are going to look at me going, this is insane. In their world, somebody has brain damage, including to the point of having personality disorder. I know a lot of humans that could do with a personality, but they've got, they've got a machine that literally will help heal somebody whose mind is fractured. It will actually heal it, not just give them coping mechanisms. Now, I will tell you, and this is completely off kilter, but what the heck? I have dealt with people myself with identity problems, and I don't mean somebody stole your identity. I don't mean that at all. That's somebody else's department. I'm probably going out on a limb, but it wouldn't shock me to find out the Storm actually knows how to deal with some of that. Tracking down where it went, that sort of thing. But I know a couple of other programmers that could do it easily. My brother used to have a virus scanner that was great. Okay. If somebody had a virus that hit my brother's computer, my brother's scanner would literally track the origin back to the computer or computers that the virus was first built on, and then absolutely cooked the motherboard and the hard drive. Okay, I was curious a lot of the time why you didn't get it to take care of the operator, but I think that would be called murder. What do we got? So when we're looking at the incarnate, it is designed to enhance human cognitive capacity at the same time as it solidifies the link to the Terra neural net. Now, something we got to realize: the neural net is a weird setup. Yeah, Storm goes, that's why I don't launch black ice. Yeah, because I think if I recall correctly, by the way, for those of you that don't know, black ice comes from Shadowrun. Okay, maybe that's where my brother came up with the idea. I don't know. Or for all I know, maybe he came up with the idea and they took it. But if I recall correctly, black ice did target the actual owner and the actual operator. So we are looking at a device designed to stabilize communication lines on the neural net. Now you can see why the Tellusians would build this. Okay, because the Tellusians built the whole incarnate to make it possible to communicate with other races. Instead of trying to figure out all the ins and outs of tonal definition, they figured, okay, let's make this so that we can access different things. Okay, now there are enhancements and there are actual extra bands. Okay, and I really should have put that all together, but this is coming out in the second edition. Okay. In fact, just because I'm thinking about it here, not that one, this one. Nope. I mean, what I'm doing is making a note because it just dawned on me here. I have got this information written into the incarnate, and I do desire it to be in the new book, in the second edition. But there are additions to it. Okay. Oh. Yeah, Storm goes ice. Intrusion countermeasure electronics. Also known as you attack my computer, you're not going to be happy anymore. Now, neat thing is, if I can find somebody that can draw a techno. Storm, this is literally to you. Well, to you or LA. Did you not tell me at one point that you know somebody that draws electronics? I am. Where are we here? No, I know where I am. I wonder if I've got that open. Do I? Nope, that's the wrong one. There. Okay. Just scrolling down. Green. Bear in mind, this is all alphabetical. I am about, where are we here? 29 to 60, so I'm about halfway through it. Like I said, I'm aiming for the end of this month. Worst case scenario, because of finances, maybe July. But I'm about halfway through the expansion already. So yeah, I'm done playing around with the idea of, oh, Joseph, you draw electronics. Great. Because I got some work for you if you want it. You know, again, it really boils down to being able to actually explain what it is. I got no idea how to draw electronics. None at all. Okay. But the technology, I know that the artists I've got work on different fields. There are all kinds of different types of artists out there. Okay. Fortunately, I'm not looking at building this thing because mankind's ability right now and their own technology level won't handle it. But yeah, the Incarnate has it's got extra adjustments that can be used. I mean, it's quite viable for them to actually hook more than one person up to it, you know, to link setups, to actually help other people heal. You know, it can be done very easily. Now, where are we here? We're at 5:30. And again, in case you're joining us, because with me being on live stream, with me being on StreamYard, I don't know how many people are in the room. Okay, so if you've got questions, the questions do come up in my feed, but I've got no idea what's sitting there. Oh, Iowax, how are you? Iowax goes, I saw them. I made a book that crawls. Also an agent that wants out. Now the walls move. That's always handy. You know, yeah, I have no doubt about that at all. You know, see, I couldn't work with electrical work because I was absolutely all other than two colors. I was colorblind, okay, and short-sighted, so I couldn't even read the little tiny writing on the wires. Electrical work just didn't work. Electronics are worse, you know. But when we take a look at the Incarnate is a really cute little thing. Now, where is the other one? Well, we've dealt with that one, that one. Where is the thing? I was just looking at it. Oh, there we are. Now, I'm preferring, I know some of you are still looking at it going, how are we going to, how can we work with this? Yeah, you kind of have to believe, well, you don't have to believe ayahuasca. What did we miss here? Oh, Nathan, this one I dug out of a suit my father had. The suit will be going the way of the dodo bird, but it's an eagle. Okay, the center wing is copper. The ring around it is gold, but the pendant itself is pewter. And then of course on it, I've got the ring I got from my brother. This one is sterling silver and malachite. And then this one is the one that my fiance, the Kira, gave me. Okay, that's the one ring that ruled them all. So I just put them all there. I don't have to undo this to get it on. Makes it so much easier for me. Okay, but yeah, it was my father's, and I don't know how I ended up with it. Of course, in all fairness, I'm not even entirely certain how I ended up with this. Okay, this is a magnifying lens. Okay, but my dad was up in the bush when he was a kid, and this was wedged in. It was wedged in between two logs in a log cabin out in the middle of nowhere. So Dad and his two buddies worked it out and took it home, right? It stayed at Dad's home while he was a kid, was there for about a year, and then vanished one day. And Dad lost track of it. A couple of years later, he goes back up to the same cabin with one of the guys that he dug it out with in the first place. And that crystal, this little lens, was stuck back in the same place. So Dad dug it out again and brought it home. About 10 years before Dad passed, Dad spotted it was in my possession. He asked me where I got it. I said, I have no idea. I said, I didn't know it was in my place. Right? So I says, here, you can have it back. He goes, no. He says, that crystal goes with you. It's decided it's yours. Keep it. Okay. But this, I think, and I'm really not certain, but I suspect, well, okay. Now, I don't have a lot of sun here. Obviously, it's pretty dark. Oh, okay. Yeah, I've got some information for you there, Nathan. I won't be dealing with it tonight. Nathan's just asking, do any of your consortium contacts have anything to say about star seeds on Earth? Or is it out of their hands? I certainly have information for you, but that's a whole lot more complicated. However, that's an excellent idea. Because like I said, next week we're going to be dealing with the different races and what have you. I know exactly who's got the information. Okay. And I will cover that. I'll find a place to pop that in next week. I don't think we'll get much with it this week. Not with what I got going on. But Nathan, is absolutely, I've got some for you. I'll be more than happy to give it to you anyway. Okay. Where are we here? Oh heavens, I get typos all the time. I don't even worry about them. The neat part about it, when we look at the technologies, you got to remember, some of these people are coming in knowing what they can build or what is there. And many are looking at it going, but humans don't have the right technology yet. Now, this is the only weapon I'm going to bother dealing with. I've got more. But there is something called the Relicer. It was developed by the Xenon. Okay. Now understand the Xenon are your robotics. Okay. Unless I made a typo here. What did I do with it? Right there. This is why I've got this, because I am not 100% perfect. At all. Yep, that's right. I did type it right. The Xenon are what amount to robotics. They are a mineral-based race. Right now, we're in negotiations. Actually, in all fairness, I should call it education. Okay, because they rely on the bionomes to literally come up with new ideas for their own advancement. So wiping out the bios is not a good idea. But they built something called a Relicore. Okay, now the Relicore is a really cute weapon. And this is what you guys are up against. This is why I say war is not an option against the Offworlders. The Relicore is designed for one thing. It is designed to boil a Caboran's blood. Now, for those of you that forgot or didn't know in the first place, a Caboran, every Caboran is a planet. a planet, an asteroid, a planetoid. Every Gaboran is one. But every planet, every asteroid is not a Gaboran. So we're talking about something designed to boil the lifeblood out of Gaboran. We are talking about something designed to kill a planet. Okay? And I'm laying on, since mankind can't even defend itself against a nuclear blast, I'm betting that they're not going to be able to defend themselves against a beam designed to boil the core of the planet. Can we see a problem there? Yeah. Oh, here we go. Anything else? So tonight's quantum show: starseeds, muggles, and full moons. That ought to be entertaining. Hopefully, my energy holds. I did actually get a little more sleep today, which is weird. But absolutely, guys. Yeah. But absolutely, guys. Drop into Nathan's show tonight. One of the biggest things is now this Relicore, they only bring it for one reason, and that is if they're planning on taking a planet out. Now, the consortium does have access to this technology. Okay. And unlike humans, okay. Well, no, it's actually very similar to humans. Some of the Xenon literally are not happy with the way the Xenon are trying to wipe people out. Okay, they see the problem. It's those ones that we're working with. Okay, but it's also those ones that centuries back, okay, way before I ever came on the scene, they had already managed to get some of the contacts sorted around. Remember, I mentioned that the consortium, if they've got a problem, they will absolutely decimate the 3 primary planets. Okay, this is one of the weapons they use for it. The other one, I'm not going to get into today. Okay, but that's their main gun. Now, you got to remember, the main gun on the consortium ship is big enough. If you were to take the HMS Titanic, turn it broadside, you could slide it inside the gun and still have room to maneuver. Okay, so, I mean, we are looking at a lot of different issues. But that is the destructive power, like the healing power that they also have with the Incarnate. Okay, yeah, let's see if I remember to write it down. Oops. Oh, by George, I've got it written. It's just not on this sheet. There is another tool. Okay, there's a much bigger one that is designed, and it literally is non-portable. No, you're absolutely right there, Joseph. Size doesn't equal destructive power. But considering the fact I've seen this particular weapon take out a star, physical observation will do that for me. But no, I mean, let's face it. If size mattered, a nuclear bomb would never, a nuclear reaction would never have equated to anything, nor would antimatter. But when we take a look when you take a look at this level of technology, okay, they've got another machine. I don't have it written down here. Okay, but it is literally, you stand in this thing, and it is literally big enough. You can put anything from a Kinlar or smaller, Okay, now remember, Kinlaws are only like 3 feet tall. They are what amount to technologically advanced rats. Real vicious little monkeys. Okay, well, rats. But it can range from really tiny to all the way up to the Anunnaki and beyond. But what it is designed for is physically realigning chakras in whoever body you works with. Now, the thing you got to remember, and I know this is going to cause some confusion, the chakras, the way they've been laid out, that most Reiki masters have been taught, aren't actually as stable in their position as what I came to understand. Absolutely, they can there, Joseph. You know, there's a whole lot of things that can happen. The Anunnakis, one ship that they use right now, is inbound, and that's why I know this is what clued me in when I saw the thing. It can adjust its own magnetic field and its own gravitational pull in order to avoid massive complications. Now, this other machine, I've got to look up the notes for it, so I will do my best to get that before the end of the week. But we'll get back to you on what it's actually called. It is designed to literally adjust all of the chakras. Now, Reiki masters work with 7 major chakras. The really good ones work with 9. Okay, I work with 37, I believe. Okay, this thing works with an even larger amount. Now, before I go further on that, somebody's been drinking my coffee. So, I will be back momentarily.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Delicious things to eat.
The popcorn can't be beat. The sparkling drinks are just dandy. The chocolate bars and the candy. So let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
And I know that really important thing. Okay. You know, there are certain things that are kind of necessary in my world. Coffee is one of those things I enjoy. Now, now, here's the neat thing. Okay, like I said, that's, yes, they've got weapons. Yes, they've got healing techniques. Okay, that neat little machine, and I don't have the information written down here, but hang on. Let me mark this down and make sure I get the right stuff to be added. See, it's funny. The Ennead actually did a lot of work on healing techniques, especially regarding the human body. Now, the Pleiadians are another issue altogether. Okay, they've got a lot more complicated equipment, but they specialize in healing. The Ennead, they specialize in, shall we say, fancy coercion. Yeah, coffee is a major food group. I thought it was food group myself. In a lot of ways. But then what do we got? Yeah, might as well look at that. Now, we have this thing called the OTE drive. You've heard me mention it before, I'm sure of it. The oscillative densification of the tri-transcendental equipolarity is literally what it boils down to. And what it is the star drive. No, as far as I know, humans haven't got one. They're working on it, but it boils down to this. Now, humans still believe that outer space is full of empty space. Now, I'm presuming, Lauren and Joseph, I am presuming that when you're talking about altering the moon's path, I'm presuming you're referring to an optical illusion, not a physical realignment. Because I can just picture the disaster that would happen if you did that. But the OTE drive, humans still think that it's all empty space out there. I'm telling you it's not. Okay? And here's the thing. The smallest known particle that I'm aware of, and if somebody knows better, that's great. The smallest one I know of, in human technology anyway, is the hydrogen atom. One electron only. But, and here's the way the OTE drive works. When an electron, now we all, people who study science, even basic science, understand that an electron will randomly release from any atom and travel a distance to connect with another atom. Well, here's the kicker. If you take a hydrogen atom and the electron leaves it, oh, okay. See, like I said, Joseph is just saying, no, this is natural occurrence that has not happened in 18.6 years. It's due to the Earth wobble. As I mentioned, I am not an astronomer. So we're dealing into a position where we really have to go with what Joseph is talking about, because I got no way to say, I've yet to find that Joseph says anything that is intentionally deceptive. We've come off on the opposite side of the same table a number of times, but I'll quite readily take that as a go. So thank you very much for that, Joseph. With the atom, the electron leaves the hydrogen atom, leaves what I call a null atom, completely devoid of all electrons. Okay, but when that one electron connects with another hydrogen atom, that hydrogen atom now has two electrons. We now have helium. Okay, but it's what happens when that electron leaves the hydrogen atom to connect with another one that matters. The OTE drive literally picks up the shock wave of what that atom pushing through null space does. Okay, it picks up the shock wave. Okay, and feeds that back through their system to create literally an unlimited drive capacity. Now, as you can well imagine, the ship is passing through. You've got all this null space going behind. The same OTE drive is designed to grab onto that trailing shock wave and hold on to it to slow the whole system down. Net result, you can travel way, way, way faster than light. Light is not the fastest thing, by the way. And for those of you that have read it before, the fastest thing in existence apparently is belly button length. Check your Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Now, with the OTE drive, okay, there is no gravitational flux, so they don't have to have stabilizers and what have you. But their ships are all built with them anyway. Okay, but all of that excess energy gets fed not only into the engine for driving purposes, it's also what they use to charge any weapon systems, any navigation systems, any food replication and or healing systems. They're all tied into the same thing. Okay, so as you can see, the OTE drive is a rather beneficial little item, but it relies on understanding chemistry and physics way more than what humans do yet. Now, like I said, last I knew, I think there were 118 elements on the periodic table of elements, according to humans. Now, I may be off on the number. Okay, what I do know is I saw one that was not human with 250 elements. Okay, this is why I say, the off-world science works great for them, but it is in mankind's technology is not brought about properly yet. Oh, I did forget to mention that. Okay. When I was talking earlier about the Mercaucanan planet, it was designed by the Atlanteans. Okay. Now, I do have to take a look at that eventually, but it's not bad. We're making pretty decent headway. Oh, yes. This is a construction construction tool that has been used, and you can picture how. I mean, think of it this way before I get into it. When you look at an industrial steamroller, the ones that work on the big mining corporations and what have you, or on the big mining sites, it is a construction tool. But can you see how it could be turned into a weapon? Okay, now these guys, and this was designed by the consortium itself. Okay, something called the Gravitalor beam. It literally works to adjust gravity to enable things like, for instance, a block of stone the size of what the pyramids are made of. It enables the gravitational effect of that to be reduced enough that you can pick it up and move it. Now, the funny part about it, okay, is did they use that to build the pyramids? Pyramids weren't built by them, from what I gather. Okay, I'm still working on who, but there's some neat things about the pyramids. Oh, where are we here? Can't read it. Oh, Storm goes, there's 180 elements currently on the periodic table. Robert White, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Yeah, definitely not. I'm only finding out how little. But that's okay. Humans have done very well with the periodic table thus far. Okay. Now, the Gravitalor beam is literally, it is used to quite seriously modify the weight, the gravitational attraction. It does seem I'm having trouble speaking. it is designed to adjust the gravitational attraction of, of a material in order to lift it and move it. Now, I'm going to take this to a whole different level. I said I wasn't going to go into weaponry, and I'm not. Okay, this thing is designed for working, but, for construction. Okay, it was literally, this is the tool they used to develop the wormholes, the wormhole technology that they used to fly with. Okay. Now, in addition to that, though, okay, the Galactic Consortium, they've got a contingency that looks at weaponry. Okay. And absolutely, there is a lot of watching of what's going on, a lot of guiding what's going on. Neat part about it, I'm just looking at my notes on this thing. Now, I could go into some, I'm working on some other stuff, but I will tell you, these are some of the bigger items. Now, this other neat little thing. Okay. And what time are we? Take my glass off, can't see what time it is. That's always handy. Okay, we've got this other neat little tool. I love that I can't read right now. Called and we call it the triphasic transmographer. It is designed by the consortium. Okay, but this is that neat little tool designed to literally travel from one end of the world, from one end of known space to another spot like that. We are not talking wormhole technology. We are talking transportation. Okay. Oh, there we go. Storm goes theoretical elements take it to 120. Not bad considering the fact I was told we're looking at 118. And I am no scientist. Understand, when I was going to school, I had to learn, all of us did. We had to memorize the periodic table of elements. Only the first 20. Okay. Oh, I'm not debating what he claims. I will tell you, the limit that limit the Feynman. Now, Joseph is going. Feynman claims the upper limit of the periodic table may be 173 to 184. Okay, I'll tell you, shooting short. I've seen one with 250. Okay, now that said, call me nuts, call me a number of things that you'd like. Doesn't matter from my end. Okay, but that is a pretty good run. I would be interested, I would be curious to see what Hawking's had come to the number with. Just because I'm curious. But when we take a look at the transmographer, it is literally designed for instantaneous communication. Now, it is not designed for moving entire fleets. Okay, that is why the transmographer was built. Oh, okay. Storm goes, the first 20 elements are the building blocks of everything on Earth, according to older concepts. Thank you so much, LA. We are down to the 30-minute mark. Now, the triphasic transmographer. Okay, again, the triphasic term is because it operates on the echo factor, and the shockwave factor. And what I mean by that is that something moves through time and space, okay, it leaves a shockwave behind it. Move something really fast across in front of your vision, you'll see secondary images. That's the echo. The shockwave is what happens as it goes through. Yeah, Joseph goes, what I wonder is the same as Dr. Michael Thompson of MIT. We really do not know what the heaviest element that could exist. Absolutely, we don't. We only know what we've been able to quantify. Okay. And this is where I run into a problem. I can quantify in my heart, I can quantify much of what I talk about. Can I do it to your guys' satisfaction? Not a prayer. Okay. But the transmographer was designed, first of all, it was designed to eliminate the communication problem. Now, for that, they need one on this end of the world, and they've got to get the other physical one over here, which, needless to say, if you haven't got it over there, you can't use the thing, which is where we end up with not that little item, which is where we look at the Gravadlor beam. Okay, and we take a look at the OT drive to get this stuff moved over. Because the transmographer, you've got to take the piece of equipment, set it up, install it. Now, we, as far as I'm aware, we do not have one on Earth. Okay, the transmographer is what I'm referring to. There isn't one on Earth. Not that I'm aware of. Yes, LA, there has to be. They're actually the same machine, but they get flipped around. Okay, it's a setting on it to make it either send or receive. This enables these two telephones to be set up, if you will. Okay, and then, okay, I want to talk to that guy over there, so I'm going to flip this around, and I'm now going to send. Now, here's the thing that they got right on Stargate. Okay, it is a 7-key alignment. Okay, this and the 7 keys are very simple. Okay, the 7-key alignment they showed you on Stargate is accurate. Not the sigils, but the concept. There we go. Told you I am not what we call a techie. I'm also not tricky, by the way. It started off where it was just like with humans. Okay, we started off with vocal communication, just beeps and pops, as in Morse code. Then they developed voice. Then they developed video. Now, here's the thing with the transmographer. Okay, once you get it in place, it can accommodate sound, the sound, video, and the dangerous part, and this is why they haven't set one up here, okay, is it allows for physical relocation. Okay, now it works fine, but can you picture what humans would do given their aggression and their aggressiveness and their propensity to try and expand? Can you picture what they would do with that kind of toy? Okay, but it is designed for immediate physical transport. Now, some races can do that of their own accord, but this was the technological equivalent thereof. And I mean, this won't help you much, except understand these are in the second printing. Okay, so you've got different components of it, of the transmographer, are the cross-core modulator. This thing is designed to link the physical point in existence with one physical point to another. That's the thing that they utilize. It's a component that gets utilized to make matter transfer possible. And what is this? Oh yeah, the interface. I could go into the rest of this, but it boils down to, your trisolar, the trivilar, and the trifilar. These are all components of the same piece. Okay. And it's designed for communication. That's what it was designed for to start with. They found other uses for it as they went along. But I'll be expanding on those as well. The nice part about it, yeah, I've got part of that. I've got to go in and finish that off. But we are talking about technology levels that are so far above human. It's insane. Okay, it's absolutely insane. But it's one of these things that once we start connecting, and this is why it is so important that humans start helping each other, regardless of where you are on the planet. This is why positive perspectives and positive perceptions comes into play. Okay, because we've got to start focusing on the positive side of this, not looking at these people with phenomenal technology and going, how could we turn it into a weapon? Get past the idea of turning things into a weapon. In the wrong hands, that's a pen. Nothing more, nothing less. In the wrong hands or the right one, that can be a weapon. So can a credit card. You name it, anything can be turned into a weapon. The real key to it is finding what weapon can be turned into a tool of building, of creation. Okay, and I don't mean creating a mess. What did I do here? Yes, exactly, LA. It is literally a physical transceiver. Okay. Now, picture, if you will, this, if you really want to look at what that can do. Okay. Let's say that you're going to war. Okay. Now, this is why they won't turn it over to humans. Because if you're going to war, you could take a modified gas and flood the planet's atmosphere with it and kill everybody off at the same time. Yeah, Robert White goes, anything that can create a shockwave can be made into a weapon. The shockwave itself can be weaponized as well. Absolutely. But here's the neat little thing. Much as it can be used to destroy, the Pleiadians took that technology, that potentiality, and went, hey, we can actually utilize this to help an entire species if it falls under the realm of like, the only time they do that is if the consortium, if some member of the consortium accidentally set something off. Okay, if it's an accidental set off, the Pleiadians will use that transmographer to cure the entire problem and to restabilize the entire problem on a global standpoint. Okay. Now, the thing is, if that imbalance is created by a member of the consortium, okay, by a member race of the consortium will go in, wipe out the primary, secondary, and tertiary government planets. I do believe lungs are supposed to work. What do you think? So, I mean, humans are very aggressive, in case you haven't figured it out. But when they built the transmographer, it was designed to be able to circumvent what the Sarkon ran into. Sarkon expanded too far, and net result, they had to cut many of their outlying communities loose. Net result, we have the Tormodon, the Srazazian, and the Kamalian. All ended up evolving of their own accord. And that's a long, complicated story itself. Okay, but we are talking about technology that can be used and primarily is used to heal. Okay, that's the nice part about the people sitting in council. Their focus is not on war. It is not on how do we hurt somebody. It's how do we get communication lines working properly. Now, they are not building, nobody that I'm aware of is building a technological translator, except the Xenon. Okay, and they kind of have to. But what they're doing is they are growing their translators. Hence the hybridization program. The hybridization program we will be covering on Monday. Okay, in a lot more detail, as well as as was brought up yesterday, as well as the actual purpose of the trade union. Okay, which by the way is not at crossroads with the consortium. Now, before I go any further, because we're past the 20-minute mark and on the downslide, but all of you guys that are in the chat room, because obviously the ones that aren't here are going to be a little bit problematic. Okay, because the decision gets made tonight. Are there any races that you're aware of? And if you've got the book Races of the Worlds, absolutely reference it. And if you've got a race you'd like to deal with. Okay, now we'll be 2 hours tomorrow, obviously. So I'm looking at probably 120, probably 6 races is likely what I'm going to be looking at. Now I'm going to go into more detail on the way they operate. But the question to you guys is, which races are you most interested in of the ones that you're aware of? Okay. And yes, I have this fine little pad so I can actually mark it down. Because this is where you get to decide what we're going to deal with. Let's not do that. Just a thought. Now, I've got a couple I'm already figuring on. Yeah, pretty much. I just didn't give you the coordinates for it. Nathan goes, for me, your races book is almost a direct dial phone book. There we go. And we will absolutely get to that. I don't know which order I'm going to do them in yet. Okay. But we will definitely get to the Anjonas. Now, I will tell you, I will modify things. There's no problem there. But the two other ones that I'm looking at here are the reticulans, okay, which are what you know as the Greys, okay, and the Genefni, which are what you know as the Nords. Okay, but that leaves me 3 more races to pop in there. Because the nice part about it, when we take a look at it, is that the whole thing, I mean, yes, I'm sitting on a staggering amount of information. I am not an expert, and that's something we got to make sure we understand. I've simply got a wider array of experience. That's the nice little part about it. Okay, but, and will I, there's a couple of other races. I've got a few, but I'm just giving people a chance. If you've got one you'd like to know about. Like, I do know who handles the Akashic Records. Joseph goes, we're constantly working towards downsizing and making our weapons lighter and more effective. Well, that's the funny part. Their most deadly weapons, a lot of the reasons they leave some of their weapons large is literally because many corporeals look at the size of the weapon and go, that's scary. And it's literally a fear factor. Okay, that's literally what it boils down to. But they've got neat little weapons they've got an interesting gravitational, well, really it's a wormhole grenade. Okay, but they're looking at downsizing a lot of their stuff. Well, they already do. But you got to remember, you can get something so small, you can no longer handle it. Okay. Like there is technology that will literally build a building overnight. Okay. You literally take this little thing and they can pop a building up overnight. Problem. If there is a glitch. Okay. Lawrence goes, like, a knife is scarier than a gun. Well, I'll tell you, having faced both down, okay, the gun is absolutely useless inside about 15 feet in humans' hands. But outside 30 feet, a knife is pointless. Okay. But the real factor that you look at is they've gone beyond the idea of doing much with weapons. Okay, they leave the weapons the size they are because it frightens primitives. It's that simple. Okay. Now, if you go to some of the races that are out there, all of a sudden you've got an interesting setup. Now, who are these? I just got to double check somebody here. Where are the people that build it? Oh, yeah. See, you want weapon. The fact of the matter is, communication is the big thing. You get communication lines up and running, weapons become useless or unnecessary. However, you never, when you're dealing with going out in the larger world out there, you don't go out without certain protection. Okay. And like I said, you think about it, in nature, animals fluff themselves up to look bigger, to seem larger than life. It's a scare tactic. You know, people don't, and when I say people, I mean across the spectrum. Okay. People don't look at a small, they don't look at a tiny thing and go, oh, look, he's carrying the most deadly weapon on hand. Oh, nice. Yeah. That's really great, Joseph. I'll bet that's going to take up some time of yours, at least a day or two, depending on how big it is. I cannot believe it. Like I was talking to my other half the other day, we are finding it really difficult to believe. We are already at the end of almost at the end of June. And that means we're down to like 7 weeks before we hit Las Cruces. So I mean it is, like we are coming down to the wire here, which is going to be, from my standpoint, real enjoyable, it's kind of an exciting period. And we are down to 10 minutes. Now, again, guys, we are going to be back again tomorrow. Tomorrow, we're going to be looking at these races. And just because, like I've got races all over the place here. But in deference to the amount of work that you put in to give us a hand there, LA, we will cover the Angeles as the first race. Okay, and we'll take a look at what they're there for, why they are what they are, etc., etc. Okay, so absolutely, if you've got questions, guys, bring them along. right now, because I haven't got the extra ones here, but I do know we will deal with the reticulans, with the Gaddafi, with the Angelus. We are going to deal with the Zerzics. Okay. And I think the other one we'll deal with now. I'm quite willing to these last three, the last three that I'm looking at, we're going to look at. We can adjust them if we have to. But we are also going to look at the Sarkon. Now, I don't know what other race I'm going to look at. Okay. But I do know that we are going to deal with these. And of course, next week, okay, we're going to be taking on a whole lot more of the different races. Not all of which will be in the races of the world, by the way. Okay, because I've got other races I've been working with as well. As a matter of fact, 123 in total, including humans. Okay, so yeah, we are working on this one first, but I've got a whole pile of other ones I'm working with. And of course, there's that neat little question of where does this information come from? Well, sad to say, guys, as twisted as this sounds, it comes from hands-on. You get to figure out whether it's real or not. You get to figure out whether or not. Oh, I'm lost. And that's okay. I don't have to be found. You know, the reality of it is my life is way more like science fiction than anything else. But, okay, we are looking at putting them back together. And I'm just wondering, just a thought, okay, and this is literally adding an extra page or two. Yep. In your guys' opinion, would it be wise to include the other races in book 10 that are coming out in book 2? Include them as an appendix to book 1 as an appendix at the back of it, obviously, while I'm doing the second printing. Okay. The book is going to be, as it stands, it's going to be pretty much double the size of what the original was. Okay. One of the drawbacks or benefits of adding the pictures is all of a sudden, when you add those and the extra information, all of a sudden the book went boom. Right. So I'm working on that side of it. But tomorrow we're going to be dealing with races. Okay, like we said. On Monday we're going to look at the different programs and different groups inside the consortium. Okay, and again, absolutely bring your questions. Okay, then on Tuesday, we're going to look at the other link that is quite extensive, and that's this. Okay, I've taken the information from Races of the World is essentially an encyclopedia. The races that get covered in here, this is science fiction, science fantasy, take your pick. But the races I'm dealing with in here, a lot of them are in Races of the World. And they'll deal with the social interaction side of it. So, a lot of work to be done there. Okay. But we are down to, it looks like we are. So, hopefully this has helped. If you've got questions, drop me a line, let me know, or bring them into the show tomorrow. Okay, we will be back again tomorrow from 4:30 to 6:30 Pacific time. Okay, 4:30 to 6:30 at night. That said, guys, thanks so much for sharing your time with us today. Really do appreciate it. Figured we'd go down a little different line. And thanks again, especially to Storm for taking care of the background there. And it's literally Storm's suggestion that we cover a bunch more races next week. Okay, so we are starting to advance. Now, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. One day I'll get to meet some of you. Okay, I know I'm heading for Utah in August. Utah and Las Cruces in New Mexico. Okay, and then I don't know where I'm going next. But it's getting to be interesting. Eternity, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Thank you so much. But I will be back again tomorrow. Until then, thanks again for sharing your time with us. Really appreciate it. Until we talk again, do take care of yourselves and each other. And for pity's sakes, stay positive.